How many people were you hoping to sell forms to? I mean, you heard Senator Magnus Abbey talk about how at the list you'll be looking to sell forms to perhaps almost 16,000 people.
I agree.
If there's going to be any contest.
Agree, but
isn't it possible that maybe these teams would have said, well, we can come in buses to come and buy forms at the
what point
Secretariat?
did they assemble themselves? At what point did they agree to go to particular banks, buy the forms, assemble at a place so that buses can take them? If there is such an arrangement by any coincidence, it should just be a number, not the type number of buses that the police eventually had to keep aside because they were choking the road, and so they put them to where they should park.
Mr. Feinborn,
they didn't stop the individuals.
Mr. Feinborn, is in all fairness here, is there no suspicion around the fact that you have a situation where on the composition of the committee that was to conduct these congresses was kept under wraps until the 11th hour, even onto the day? You could even say it was the 12th hour. And then even then, option A4, if there are no materials, how do you even verify that those people lining up are members of the party? These are issues in terms of accountability that people are asking these questions. What is your response to those?
Definitely, there's no way for us. And of course, we didn't expect, and even as I sit here, we don't expect such collusion to exist because there's no basis for it. There's no basis for such collusion. For us, we feel it's our normal way of doing things last minute. Otherwise, we expected that even the people from National should probably come in 3 days or 4 days to the congresses. But then, that's beyond us.
But aside from the timeline, though, if you're saying it's your way of doing things as a party, why is it that Rivers is peculiar in the sense that they didn't want to use materials, they didn't want to go through the ordinary process?
No, let me straighten. There is no issue about material. The only material I know that is involved in these congresses or was involved we are just the forms in the different categories that we are to be sold to aspirants. There's no other thing. What should serve? There's no voters. There's no ballot paper.
So
it's option A4. People simply queue. If, in fact, the guys from National only came with result sheets for which they themselves collated results.
So ultimately, it comes down to the integrity of those who came from Abuja. That's what it sounds like.
No, I don't think there's need to begin to talk about the issue of integrity. We believe them. We saw them. They were transparent in what they did.
Can I just ask you, Mr. Feinborn, you will have your moment, Senator Abbey. When the forms were sold, because you say that the police came, the police got intelligence, this happened on Friday, you were going to sell forms, and at the end of the day, you saw people coming in busloads, you had to tell the police to intervene. At what point did the police intervene?
Now, when we got information, I got personally from my aide, who told me that he had to escape. This is before God and man. That he had to escape from the Secretariat. That chairman hasn't come, nobody has come. That the way the place is charged, they had to escape. That was in the morning.
At what time?
Now, I tried to read, that would have been like 8, 9. So I had to call the chairman and say, have he said yes, he has also had. So we agreed to meet in to try to see and discuss the situation. So when we discussed the situation, we said, no, there is need to get to the very highest level of security in the state to take care of it, because the police were also very careful. The police, they didn't want to get involved beyond asking them to drop the bus, park the buses a distance away, allow them to come to the Secretariat, because people claimed their apartment. They didn't go beyond that. So now that it had become so agitated, the idea now was, how do we get policemen to secure, at least ask people to leave the Secretariat, stay outside the gate, so that those who would handle the selling of forms could come in. But as it was then, very difficult for anybody to. So if I understand
you clearly, you had not sold forms before Friday?
No, we had not sold forms before Friday.
So if I also understand you, all the people whom you are hoping would buy forms were going to come in on Friday?
Friday morning,
In other words, how many people were you looking?
We were looking at as many as would want to come and buy forms.
Can you give us a rough estimate of how many people you were
I align with what the distinguished senator about that is mere guesswork.
Well,
you may never
over
know.
8,000 people.
You may never
then.
know. You may never know.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, from the beginning, you say you are lying with the senator.
Yes, yes.
Well over 8,000 people.
It could be possible.
No, I said
it could be
well
more, it could
over
be less.
16,000
Well,
minimum.
It could be more, it could be less.
At the minimum. I want to ask you, Senator Feinborn, I beg your pardon, Mr. Feinborn, when were you hoping to start selling the forms to the over 8,000 people if at Friday morning you hadn't started selling the forms and you're still waiting for the national, as you said in that report, to come down?
Yes, we had from the pool of nominees from local LGS put down names of those the party will use at the secretariat to help assist sell forms. And it was a mere, having desks, and they are staying there and manning each person, manning each category of forms. And when you come with your teller, they look at the teller. They have a way of looking.
That was
at
the plan that you had, but that plan did not take place, did it?
It didn't take place because nobody could gain access into the secretariat.
If you were expecting close to 16,000 people
Yes.
to come and buy
Yes.
forms, how were you going to differentiate members of the All Progressives Congress from people who were thugs?
The bank teller, on presentation of bank teller, we should be able to say yes, for you to spend your money to go and pay into a bank, you come with the teller, you will be sold your form.
Senator, I can see you're aching to respond.
I'm just feeling a bit concerned about my brother. Chris is a brilliant guy. But when you want to defend something that is difficult to defend, it's difficult even for the most brilliant people. He said here that at 3:30, they were waiting for the people from National to come, and the people were going to arrive a bit later. Now, who did you inform that you had now changed plans? Because we had met earlier, and the chairman had sworn on his integrity that the forms were here. As soon as the forms come, they're going to start selling. Now you changed the plan, you informed no one. You were the only ones who knew that you were now waiting for people from National. You were the only ones who knew when the people from National will come. Now, when we even made inquiries to ask, since you refused, he talked about the meeting that was held in the home of the minister, the South-South caucus meeting. That meeting reached clear resolutions which were to be implemented across the South-South to help make the congresses free, fair, credible, and peaceful. And one of those resolutions was that all stakeholders, whether you agree with the person or not, people should meet and agree on what format they want to take to conduct the Congress in the state and try to see that everybody is involved. Now, if you're going to have an election in which you say is option A4, somebody has the result sheet, he is going to enter it. What is the guarantee for the person who is contesting that the proper result will be entered at the end of the day? When you have no access to the result sheet, you have no representation in how it is conducted. People should just go and line up. Somebody will come with a piece of paper and enter the result and take it away.
So
that's one. I'm coming, Mark.
Okay, go ahead.
Secondly, he talked about, thugs coming from with buses. These are people from the same ward. So everybody doesn't have a car. If you have a group of people from a ward who are coming to Port Harcourt to go to the bank to buy teller, and you expect that each of them will pay their transport separately and all that, why can't they pool resources and come together?
You are very willing to defend those people who were...
Yes, because they are APC members. I'm coming to that. Thirdly, he said that they are thugs and hoodlums. That's what you've been hearing. But let me repeat here what I have said severally. He knows those people he saw on the TV. These are the same boys. You saw Ibn Shuka there. He was the person who spoke in front of Government House the day we were launching Save Rivers. These were the same boys that when we were fighting over the judiciary, when we thought that they were trying to manipulate the judiciary against Rotimi Amechi's government, these were the same. I led them. We were almost killed in front of the judiciary. These were the same boys that when they were trying to take over the House of Assembly, they were there for 3 days and 3 nights. Everybody was calling them thugs. These were the same boys that when we were launching Save Rivers, we went to the Arts and Science to launch Save Rivers. They were the same people. I led them. How come then all of us were calling them heroes and we were so supportive of what they were doing that they were fighting for justice? How come today APC leaders would be describing members of our party as thugs and hoodlums because now you are now trying to oppress them, and the same thing they did for you, they are trying to do for themselves?
Senator, one of the
How is that right?